Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the 5 Takeaways, a show about Carolina basketball. Listen, I know I've been gone for a while. You guys don't know this, but I've actually recorded like the last 3 videos, and my computer has just not really been working. So we're going to try something a little bit different today, and I'm just going to upload it straight from my phone. So no cuts, no edits, real raw, unfiltered footage here. Also, not going to put the graphics of the boxes up. Just going to tell them to you, just so I can get something out there. Because I've been making these videos and I haven't been able to put them up, and it's been frustrating. So I just want to make this video because we are getting into the end of year stretch here, February and March. This is where the magic happens, or as we saw last night, doesn't happen. So I want to be posting some videos and talking about Carolina basketball again for everyone to see, and not just recording on my phone and then not being able to post them. So we start and end today with the fact that Carolina lost last night at home, first home loss of the season, to the Pittsburgh Panthers by a score of 65-64. It was a close game, second loss to Pitt this year. I want to open this video by saying Pitt is a good team. That brings them to 9-3 in the ACC this year. They've had some good wins. They've beaten us twice in close games where we've had the chance to win, which we'll talk about. But, you really can't fault them. They game plan well against us. They match up well against us. They have some bigs that can really bother Armando Bacot. And they just have some dogs on the team that, can rise to the occasion. They loved the away atmosphere, the boos, the cheers when the Tar Heels were doing good. They've got some guys on the team that really eat that up and can get under your skin as a fan watching, and I'm sure as a player playing against them. But credit to them for coming out and winning. That being said, and I'm sure you're going to be tired of hearing this, Carolina was far and away, or Carolina is the more talented team. Crazy take because they've beaten us twice. Again, Pitt is a very good team. I think Carolina is better. Last night, they did not show it. And we'll start there with our first box of the day. It's a red for our shooting. Guys, you can't win a basketball game with the shooting performance that Carolina had last night. They were, if I'm reading this correctly, 34.8% from the field overall, 35%, 18.5% from three. They made 5 of their 27 attempted threes. They went 5 for 27. So 5 of their 32 attempted threes they made. And they went 59% from the foul line, 13 of 22. I don't know. Even if they make 18 of 22 and they miss 4, that's a comfortable win. And we're not going to play the numbers game, but 64 points, we got to score more than that. We're not Virginia. I don't know. Caleb, actually, that's my second box. It's a green for Caleb. He has kind of broken out of his shooting slump the past couple of games. Great to see. I think he finished with 22 last night. He had 6 rebounds and assists to go with 8 of 18 shooting and 4 threes. It was also 2 of 3 from the free throw line. So he was decent yesterday. Some of his shots were still a little iffy, but when you're hot, you just got to let him shoot, and he's going to miss some, but he's going to make some big ones too. He almost got a blue box when he hit that step back 3 to tie the game at 61. That was just like, oh, finally, we've climbed all the way back after they went on their 13-2 run. They had the Cummings guy who made like 3 threes in a row, but we were able to come back. Caleb had some great performances. So it was a green for Caleb, not a blue because we didn't win. But it was a green for Caleb, but a red for our shooting. I don't even think that Pitt's defense was that impactful, especially on some of those open threes. Leaky missed, I think, every 3 he took, he was 0 for 3. RJ was a shell of his former self, 0 for 6 from 3. Again, I'm not going to play the numbers game, but RJ makes even 1 3, and we win. So, begins and ends with the shooting. You just can't win a game like that. Third box today is going to be a yellow for Armando, and it's almost not exactly for him specifically and what he did. I thought he was aggressive and, tried his best and whatever. It's actually a yellow for how people perceive Armando's usage on this team. You see a lot of stuff on Twitter. You hear the announcers. You hear the halftime reports say, "Oh, how does so-and-so have more shots than Armando?" Armando has 5 shots. The rest of the Tar Heels have 14. That's not a recipe for success. I don't watch Kentucky, so I don't know how they deal with the Oscar kid. But, like, doesn't that sound insane that just, like, every time down the court we're going to throw it to Armando? Eventually, teams are going to be able to, like, recognize that and game plan. Pitt had, like, 4 guys that were taller than Armando. 2 of them were twins, which almost doesn't even count. And so they were able to just double team him, throw bodies at him. If they got a foul, that's fine. Bring someone else off the bench. They were able to really disrupt him because they know that that's what we want to do. That's where we're trying to go. To me, it makes more sense with a team as talented as Carolina to use their other options a little bit more balanced. Like if Armando was our only guy and we had no one else who could score or even play at a competitive D1 level, then yeah, we're going to live and die by Armando. But that's not the case. So if they're like, Armando's not going to beat us, someone else has to beat us. You see this all the time in football. Like, okay, we're going to take away the deep ball. Like, whatever. Jamar Chase is not going to beat us. Tyreek Hill is not going to beat us. And if the Chiefs or Dolphins or Bengals still beat you, then they still beat you because they have other options. But you have to be able, I think, from the Tar Heels to, if Armando doesn't have it or they've really focused on him, bring about another way of scoring. And maybe it goes back to the shooting, and we were doing that, and just the shots weren't falling. But it's a yellow for, oh, just throw it to Armando every time. No, you can't do that every time. Teams will adjust. So that was frustrating. 4th box is going to be a yellow for the coaching. I think this might be one of the first boxes I've had for Coach Davis this year. I think he's a great guy, great coach. But yesterday it was just like, I don't know. There were 2 main things here. One was the design play calling or lack thereof. There was one play in the first half where it was an inbound ball. They got it into someone, I don't remember who. They threw it into Tyler Nickel on like the corner right in front of the Pitt bench, who caught it and immediately threw it to a cutting Armando who either got fouled or got a layup or an and one. Those kinds of plays are how you remedy what we were just talking about throw it into Armando in the post every single time. Like if you get other ways for Armando to be involved and be open, then fine. Still have your offense run through him. But especially yesterday with our shooters being so cold, I feel like a timeout and a designed play to get somebody wide open and just say, you are going to make this, and have that jumpstart our offense. We had a crucial play down the stretch. We called a timeout, and Leaky was the guy open, with a 3. And he has made some 3s this year, especially open ones, but get a shooter open. I know Puff was hurt, but like have Tyler Nickel come off that screen if RJ's, having a bad game. Or if you're like, no, RJ's our guy, then get him open. Have Leaky inbound the ball or have Pete Nance in the corner. Like, do something to help your stars out, I feel like. And my other thing, kind of subbing, we haven't really talked about this since the beginning of the year when it was like, what's our rotation going to look like? I didn't think our subs were great yesterday. You see teams like Pitt throwing end-of-bench guys at Armando to pick up fouls because even though their team total is going to go up and we might shoot more free throws at the end of the game, you still have to make your free throws, as Carolina did not do yesterday. But it also keeps your starters and your most impactful players out of foul trouble. Last night, I think both Leaky and Armando at one point had 4 fouls. Let's see if I can pull that up. RJ had 4 fouls, and Armando was playing with 3. And Leaky had 4 as well. So it's like sometimes they have to sit out or they can't be as aggressive on defense. Why are we not putting a Dontrez Styles on, let me look up who their main guy was. Oh, the Jamarius Burton kid, who I might have to remove him from my list of only hot against the Tar Heels because he had 19 points yesterday and was just a stud again. So I think he might actually just be good. But anyways, have Dontrez play tough defense on him. If he picks up 2 quick fouls, that's okay, but those are fouls that Leaky's not getting, and Leaky's not getting frustrated. And if a call doesn't go his way, it's Dontrez who's like, oh, I can't believe that, and not someone we want on the court down the stretch. I felt like the substitutions really limited our starters' minutes and kind of allowed for Pitt to get back in the game. It was a game of runs. And then this can kind of go in coaching, and it can kind of go in our last box, which is honestly going to be like a gray box. It might be our first and only gray box of the season. Last possession, and then also what does this mean for us? So the last possession that we had, the ball, was terrible. Threw it into Armando, got double teamed, which we've been talking about all video, and nobody came around to help him in time. Caleb actually came around, caught the pass, and made a three, but Armando had already traveled by then, so we lost the ball. So whatever. We gave Pitt the ball back with 22 seconds left, and they had the last shot, and they were able to get fouled, make the free throws, and that was that. So I don't think we drew up a very good play. Going back to drawing up plays for our stars, how do you travel the ball off a double team in the post with 30 seconds left and you just called a timeout? How does that happen? But then going into our gray box about, man, we had been doing well, and I know we had the Virginia loss, which I made a video about, but it never got posted, which was fine. But for the most part, you really felt like we were trending in the right direction. RJ had been holding us up, with his play. Armando, of course, was consistently great. Pete was back from injury. Caleb seems to be coming out of his shooting slump. Like, we were trending upwards. And now this loss, which, yes, it's a bad loss, especially at home, but a little bit more about our mental toughness. Like, are we going to be able to withstand these teams that don't care that they're in the Smith Center, don't care that they're playing North Carolina? Times have changed. Even if we go on a run, the game's not over. If we hit a couple shots and now we're up 7 and 8 and Pitt calls a timeout, we can't ever think, oh, we've won this game. They're going to come out with a fire and an intensity to come back in it. And if they do come back in it, then momentum will be on their side. So that's not a good look for the Tar Heels that, coming down the stretch and especially like withstanding a punch in the mouth, just kind of set us back a little bit. And especially, schedule coming up. We go to Cameron on Saturday. This is kind of make or break time, as I was saying at the beginning. February, March, this is where you become a legend or you just kind of wilter and fall apart. So last year, as they said on the broadcast, we lost to Pitt, and it was the last loss we had in the regular season. We were able to string off some wins, get into the tournament, and go on a great run, take a drink. But can we do that again? I don't know. That's our 4th loss in the ACC, I believe. I said the winner was going to have 3, and right now that looks to be accurate. I think Clemson is in first, but they still have 2 losses, so I assume they'll lose 1 more. And we play them, so hopefully they lose at least 1 more. But it just leaves a sour taste in your mouth after a string of victories. Again, albeit the Virginia one, it just felt like we were doing good, and you got to win that game. Again, credit to Pitt. I think they're a good matchup against us, but icky loss. But anyways, that'll do it for us. A gray box. I wish I could put up a graphic, but again, I'm just going to try and send this right out. And thank you guys so much for watching. Go Heels.